It must stop, but not only in Ukraine. Speaking at the United Nations headquarters at a home of 193 member states.
Ukraine is a crime scene, and the perpetrator is sitting in this very room. You know who you are. The Kremlin dreams of restoring the old Russian Empire. After Ukraine, who would be next? Who would be next to satisfy Putin's fantasy of the past? Again, the core principles of the UN Charter. Do we not sit together? And I'd like to particularly speak to the esteemed Chinese representative. You have warned Russia against the use of nuclear weapons, and we welcome this. And now we are asking you, let's go further. Let's join forces to persuade Russia to end this criminal war that's hurting so many. Let's join forces to convince Russia to respect the principles of the UN Charter.
Thank you very much. Mr. President, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, Russia is abusing its veto power to prevent the Council from addressing the flagrant violation of international law the same Russia has committed. In this situation, the nations of the world cannot remain passive. When Russia replaced the Soviet Union as a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council, it took upon itself even greater responsibility than other nations to preserve international peace and security. Yet, its leadership made a deliberate decision to violate our basic principles, the key norms of international law, and it continues to do so repeatedly.
President, I wish to first thank Albania for... Mr. President, the media reports emerging from the recent Russia-DPLK summit indicating potential military cooperation are most unsettling. Any deal that enhances North Korea's military capabilities is an unequivocal violation of relevant Security Council resolutions. Such developments endanger not just Ukraine, but also the security of the Republic of Korea. It is regrettable that the DPLK continues on its trajectory of provocations, consistently breaching Security Council resolutions and international law. Their continued pursuit of nuclear and missile programs pose an existential threat to the Republic of Korea, the broader international community, and the NPT regime. Given Russia's required role in shaping the international non-proliferation regime and safeguarding world peace as a permanent member of the Security Council, we call on Russia to fully implement the Council resolutions for which it voted itself.
Thank you so much, President. Mr. President, I would like to thank you personally. Our position is clear. The Russian Federation has crossed the Rubicon with the invasion of an independent and sovereign state, a member of the international community, and the member of the family of the United Nations. Our goal is a lasting, just peace in Ukraine.
Your Excellency Ms. Novak, for your statement.
Today, it is a nuclear power invading a European, for some of us, a neighboring country, also with the realistic threat of nuclear escalation, a scenario that none of us wants to experience.
Mr. President, I would like to thank Albania as the presidency of the Security. The international community must not allow Russia to get away with this land grab. We cannot afford the international system to backslide to the pre-World War II era. Russia bears the sole responsibility for the war it started. Russia alone must end it immediately.
I thank His Excellency Mr. Inkevis for...
Excellencies, 574 days ago, a permanent member. We must recognize that Russia bears sole responsibility for inflicting immense suffering upon the Ukrainian population, while also threatening the livelihood of our people in need around the globe. Russia's decision to terminate the Black Sea Grain Initiative and to attack Ukrainian ports and stockpiles has contributed to the worldwide food crisis and benefited only Russia itself.
President, distinguished delegates, I have the honor to speak on behalf of... Remember, it is indeed very simple. If Russia stops fighting, there will be no war. If Ukraine stops fighting, there will be no Ukraine.
His Excellency Mr. Rasmussen for his statement. And I'll give
President Zelensky and the Ukrainian people know that Italy is with them and will be with them, for them, but also for Italy itself.
His Excellency Mr. Tajani for his statement. And I'll give...
We must all stand up to this affront to the UN. We must take action to stop the tragic deaths and violence, including sexual violence, caused by this unjustifiable invasion. We must not let the world return to a place where might makes right. We must make sure that borders mean something, even when a neighbor has a bigger army.
Thank you, President, and thank you for convening this important high-level open debate. But, President, while the cost of Russia's war is being paid by the world's most vulnerable people, Ukraine suffers the most. Russia has inflicted tragic loss of life and catastrophic damage across Ukraine. It has placed Ukraine's very existence under threat. It has torn apart families, abducting thousands of children in an effort to re-educate those children to disavow their loved ones and hate their homeland. You know, this conflict has seen great cruelty, but removing a child from family to such ends is nothing short of abhorrent. So Australia stands steadfast with the people of Ukraine, who continue to show extraordinary courage, and we join with all those in calling for the return of Ukraine's abducted children. We contribute defence, economic and emergency humanitarian assistance, some 890 million Australian dollars so far, and we support Ukraine's efforts to hold Russia to account.